Hello, everyone, and welcome to TNT. Lord Alfred Hayes here, along with Vince McMahon. We expect the usual TNT activities this week, which means, of course, we expect the unexpected. And with that in mind, we'll go with one of the expected things. If that makes any sense, would you please welcome our very first guest, one and the only Junkyard Dog. Another one bites the dust, and that is the occurrence most often that we see when someone steps into the ring with a junkyard dog.
Sometimes. Most of all the time, but a little bit, it's like this now. It's rock and roll.
Rock and roll, I'll tell you, that's exactly where you belong in that rock and roll category. We understand, as a matter of fact, that you've been contemplating being a part of an album coming up pretty soon. You're going to do your own cut, I understand.
Oh, yeah. I got a little bit of hidden talent. They're going to bring it out. They said they're going to bring out the best in me.
Is that right?
Yeah.
We really look forward to that. No doubt most of your talents, however, are not hidden, at least not the ones that we see in the ring. Maybe hidden maybe to some of your opponents from time to time, but you're there 100%.
Being in a league like the WWF, you got almost all the top talent throughout the country is located here, from top to bottom. Each and every guy can go anywhere over the country, wrestle main event, so it's always competition.
You got a lot of people looking over your shoulder right now, namely one of them who was our guest a couple of weeks ago, and really just a complete brawl here, and that he was really, I guess, the cause of, a gentleman by the name of Terry Funk.
Well, Funk is a nasty individual. I met Funk several years ago when I was on a small island. A few things took place and Funk never forgotten, and I thought that would be the last man that I ever see again, but here he is.
All right, now we're going to take a look at you. Take a look at the Junkyard Dog in wrestling action. Let's take you to the videotape.
We saw a little bit of his speed there, Vince. When Petrucci went to hip toss Junkyard pulled a quick reversal, which you have to move pretty quick to do that. And he took him right over in a beautiful hip lock.
Dog down, patiently awaiting A.J. Petrucci to lock up out in the middle of the ring, and here they go again. Side headlock down by A.J. Ooh, more than a side headlock. I think he hurt his hand. Now, there are a few knots up there on the forehead of the Junkyard Dog. He literally has taken his lumps through the years. A lot of calcium deposits up there. Oh, my, forget about it.
Not only that, but Vince, he uses a lot of headbutts. And when you do so many headbutts, you actually do build calcium. Whoa.
Oh, look at that. What a clothesline. This capacity crowd coming alive as they can do behind the likes of the Junkyard Dog. And the dog now snaps it back to the canvas. Cover by the Junkyard Dog. He'll get two, and that's about all. Dog now putting all of his weight down on A.J. Petrucci. As Petrucci is reaching for a handful of hair, the dog's going to show him how it's done. Woo. Junkyard Dog with A.J. Petrucci back on his feet, has him in the corner now, winds him up, sends him to the far side. Look out, here comes the dog right at him. Shoulder block, and down he goes. Junkyard Dog on top. We get 1, 2, and a 3 count. And yes, indeed, as the Junkyard Dog gets the Duke, we'll get the official time.
Here is your winner, the Junkyard Dog.
Junkyard Dog.
You bet, and that's exactly what happens. You bring them to your feet, dog. And I would think, being, without a doubt, one of the most popular athletes, I think, in the history of the World Wrestling Federation, I think there's a little responsibility, maybe a lot of responsibility you carry on your shoulders walking into the ring, certainly not to let yourself down, but not to let all those fans down as well.
It gives you prosperity looking out towards things, being out there in the ring and being among all the fans and stuff, and more or less setting a trend for the kids and stuff. Maybe 2 out of every 10 might not exactly follow your step or follow somebody else's step and try to do something for themselves. Never say what you can't do. because it's a possibility for everything.
Well, as far as setting an example is concerned, I must compliment you on that. I wish that indeed all the youth of America could follow in your footsteps. We'd have a great country.
Well, I started the hard way, man. I'm still moving.
All right, would you please welcome our next guest, Adrian Adonis, along with his manager, Bobby the Brain Heenan. The obvious question, beg your pardon?
Bad music.
The obvious question, what kind of music are you into?
Rolling Stones. Love the Rolling Stones.
Stones are great.
They've been on top for 19 years. You know why they stayed on top, Vince McMahon?
Well, sure, everyone has an idea of why.
Like Lord Alfred Hayes, they change with the times.
Alfred changed with it?
Thank you.
That's a very nice compliment.
That was a nice compliment, yeah.
Nice
I didn't
associate,
expect one. But
I wonder if we could address, why you have the briefcase and indeed what is in the briefcase.
Well, first of all, this briefcase actually is very close to me, as you can see. That's why it's handcuffed to my wrist. Obviously, to everybody out there in TV land. And what's in it is nobody's business.
Is it the bounty?
No, that's in a different briefcase. That's watched by some people. There's $25,000 in there. This briefcase, what's in here belongs to Mr. Adonis, and he watches it himself.
And handcuffed, it must be very, very valuable. Handcuffed to
Yes,
the
it
wrist.
is. Lords of London. $1 million insurance.
Lloyd's of London.
Yes.
or valuable coins? Or
Yes, it
something?
is.
An animal or
We would,
something?
Nude
we would
animals,
like
maybe.
to take you some videotape footage. You will join us in progress from the Boston Garden.
Adrian Adonis does very little. Well, wait a minute. That one rocks, Sweet Hansen. Third chop does it. Oh, but what a counter. Oh, my word.
And you know, some of these guys are goofy enough as it is without laying 25 grand under their
Don't
nose.
want to do that. Don't want to do that. Heenan, a big man with the bucks, though, these days. 25 grand for the man who could put Paul Orndorff on a shelf. 15 grand to the man who could body slam his other man, Big John Studd.
Got 40,000 up front all the time.
Ooh, that could have been just a shade low.
Might have been. Adrian is not above doing that.
Oh,
That definitely
one
was a
was
low
low.
blow. That's an automatic disqualification, my friend. Take a peek at the rule book.
Adonis, flying elbow to the veteran from Slaughters Creek, North Carolina. There's a knee to the side of the head.
And another one, Big Swede in trouble. He won't get him that way. Shoved him off like yesterday's newspaper.
What a kick out. Huh, what a kick out.
Swede's hurt, Gene. He's hurt bad right now.
But I'll tell you, those two consecutive low blows had to do something to somebody.
Take the starch out of you for sure. I don't care how big or bad you think you are. Those will make you wish you were home watching the telly. Sweeter goes outside and Adrian right out after him. Oh, big chop.
Boy, what a devastating chop. Here's Adonis going for a chair.
Oh, blocked by the Swede. He got Adonis with it, not a full shot, just a glancing blow.
Swede doesn't need a chair.
No, he doesn't. That second one was no glancing blow. Adonis is a little rocky right here. Swede now with a slingshot. Adonis upside down.
Oh, my word.
Almost over the top. Sweeter coming off the ropes now. Oh, big splash. Got caught. Got caught with a knee. Adonis now to the outside. Up to the top. Flying elbow. Swede is hurt. He got the 3 count.
1, 2, 3.
Swede Hansen looked like he was on his way to victory, made one fatal mistake. Adrian Adonis takes advantage, the ring veteran that he is. Let's get the official word.
The winner of this match, Adrian Adonis.
I guess maybe that everyone can get accustomed to seeing your hand raised in a token of victory.
Oh, they always do. From Japan to Tokyo, Saipan, Japan, all over the country, the Middle East. Sellouts, people just crowding me. They want my autograph. I hate to give my autograph, but you have to admit, Mr. McMahon, I do have a style all in my own.
No doubt about that.
You know something? There's some versatility. This is like a linebacker. You know, I can kick and punch. I can wrestle. I can fight in the street. I can do any kind of tactic. You know what that makes me? A very dangerous human being. That's what it makes me.
Mr. Heenan, I would think it would be, given all of the qualifications that we just heard, I would think it would be very difficult to manage someone of that stature.
Oh, it might be difficult to manage some people that don't have any brains, but I'm the brain. I'll admit there are times and there are occasions where this man is off the wall, and I have to sit him down and talk to him. We discuss things. And it's not always the easiest job in the world, but it's worthwhile because the man is a proven product and a proven commodity in professional wrestling. Sure, he's hey, from kindergarten to high school to college, all you teachers out there taught him. You know what it was like teaching him something. Couldn't be done. He teaches himself.
Self-taught.
Self-taught.
That's right, self-made.
Self-taught, self-made, and whatever you have in that briefcase, I guess maybe one of these days we'll find out, right?
Maybe.
Somebody will. I guarantee that. Very, very soon. Whether it be Orndorff, Steamboat, Hogan, somebody's going to find out.
And it's going to make me the Pope of New York City.
The Pope of New York City.
That's right.
All right. In any event, you are what you are, Mr. Adonis, and that is an extraordinarily gifted athlete. No doubt of that, notwithstanding your...
Are they going to play again?
Beg your pardon? The band? I believe yes. I think they're just getting
Doc
ready.
Severinsen back there. I
Oh,
can
yeah,
see
they're
him.
really
Hi,
dressed
Doc. How you
well.
doing?
They got Worldwide Wrestling Federation hats on. They got U.S. Network T-shirts on, and from the waist down, it looks like Uncle Elmer dressed them. They're in Levi.
Dr.
Well, in any
Glenn
event,
Scott Show.
We'll be back with more TNT. As a matter of fact, you may catch Mr. Adonis on tour. We'll show you a little... The bus is just about ready to leave, I think.
We'll go on a bus. Not on a bus.
No, I didn't imply that. We'll be back. All right, back with more TNT, and we have another first here, I think, on TNT, right, Mr. Heenan? I know you're impressed.
You could knight him with that, do you know, Vince?
Would you like to knight Mr. Heenan?
Certainly not.
How would you like to spend the rest of this weekend on a skewer?
Well,
Don't touch me with that dirty thing.
This all brings us to our next guest, a gentleman who's really making a reputation for himself here in the World Wrestling Federation, one of the more athletic young men in the WWF. Would you please welcome Leaping Lanny Poffo? Next guest, just move down on the sofa if you don't mind.
A can of sardines.
Thank you very much. Sit down, Lanny. That's an relatively unusual outfit we have on there. I don't think anyone's ever joined us dressed quite like that.
Let me knock you.
But in any event, thank you. In any event, one of the unusual things you do outside the ring is write poetry.
That's right. You know, I've never been afraid to be different, and I've also never been afraid to be ridiculed or spurned, because to me, the knighthood represents courage, purity, honesty, humility, charity, fidelity, and diligence. Now, there's always a few people around.
You write poetry?
Yes, this is not...
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm just picturing that in this Charlie the Tuna can here while you're writing poetry in a room. Go ahead.
In any event, as you were saying before you so rudely interrupted, I was really appreciating what you're saying about the knighthood. I'd never really heard it phrased quite like
Why
that.
don't you leave him alone?
Don't touch me. I don't know where you've been.
Mr. Heenan, you've had your time, please, all right? We would
He's
like...
bothering me. I'm trying to listen to this interview.
All right. Lanny, for everyone's benefit, I'd like to hear some of that poetry, if you don't mind. And Mr. Heenan, I'd greatly appreciate it if you'd be so kind as to be quiet.
Oh, I want to hear it too, believe me.
Okay. With that in mind,
All right.
what's this poem about?
I wrote a special poem for TNT.
All right. Sounds good.
Look back through the annals of history and the Wrestling Hall of Fame. Men from all nations with courage to spare, who struggled to carve out a name. Now compare these high standards of valor to those chivalrous knights of yore, with bravery as staunch as their armor, their glory both legend and lore. My medieval connection with wrestling relives that magnificent past. Though mindless skeptics may snicker and scoff, the winner is he who laughs last. Alive with the love of wrestling, I appear on TNT between Vince and Awful Alfred, the hottest show on TV. I'm not your average wrestler, and I wouldn't want to be. I never scream or kiss my arms. I'm happy just being me. I call myself Leaping Lanny. I validate what I say to every single wrestling fan who's watching USA. Yes, I believe in miracles. As God has blessed this great land, I believe the referee will soon be raising my hand.
All right, all right. All right, fabulous. Terrific. That is great. That is really fabulous. That is
What a talent.
That is
was
Mr. Heenan?
remarkable.
Bobby? Mr. Heenan?
It's great.
You did not appreciate...
Oh, no, I did. Anybody took that much time doing that must have spent a lot of time in Cub Scout camp or something. That was just great. I enjoyed that.
I think
Do you
Bobby-
leap into this suit or do you get chafed? How do you do that?
I think he was crying over his last perm.
Could very well be, as a matter of fact, yes. He did resemble someone else. Right now, what we would like, before we get into that, we'd like to take you some videotape footage and we'll take you a look at Lanny Poffo in a more traditional setting.
I don't know. It seems to me if I were Leaping Lanny, I'd be blown up by now. I'd be as hot as a firecracker after all the things this guy's done to me. But he doesn't seem to be bent out of shape too much. Might be one of his biggest faults. He doesn't get hot.
Well, there's good and bad to be said about the statement that you've just made.
Well, you say the good and I'll say the bad, Jim.
Well, the one thing, if you can go through a bout, if you can go through a match, and you can be cool, calm, and collected, as they say, I think you're going to be at a much better advantage intellectually and physically. Sometimes you need a little more of that adrenaline flowing, but the head in the long run is going to prevail in my estimation.
Well, if you wait till the end of the match and you're still cool, calm, and collected, you may be the loser. And you'll be cool, calm, and collected. If you can get that fire up, I'm not saying lose control, but get that fire going.
Well,
certainly got to be to your advantage.
Gorilla Monsoon, this is starting to sound like a beer commercial, and
okay.
let's drop it at that.
Very good. Side headlock, reverse chin here. As the fans in the Boston Garden are getting on the case of Mr. Barrio.
Are they ever? Oh, look at these bridges. Look at these bridges.
Unbelievable. Takes a lot of strength to do that.
Well, maybe it is time that Leapin' Lanny gets a little steamed up.
Uh-oh, there he goes. Right through that second rope.
And he cannot remain on his feet, so that means he hit the hard concrete floor here in the Boston Garden. That's going to take its toll.
Oh, there's nothing there, just cement where there used to be ice. And once again, Barrio conducting. Best pay attention to business, Barrio.
Arthur Fiedler, this man is not.
Wow.
What in the
You hear that? He went down and smacked that flesh. We could hear it all the way around here. That leads to future permanent kidney damage. You take that kind of fall on the concrete.
Kind of an orthodontist nightmare there.
Wow. Robert Redford, he's not, man.
No. No.
Here comes Lanny, back underneath that bottom rope.
Oh, solid right there by Poffo. Look at that crescent kick. Going to see a little martial
another
arts. Ooh, what an uppercut.
Oh, lovely.
Beautiful.
Nice shot, is flat on his back, down for the cover. No!
Oh, look at him go.
Wow, right to the kisser. What a right hand. Slam. Lanny Poffo in control. Watch this back flip.
Oh.
Down for the cover. He got him.
He did indeed. 1, 2, 3.
That was indeed impressive, and I think you'd even have to agree, Mr. Heenan. That was an impressive piece of work there in the square
Oh,
circle.
it was. That was a very good move. But don't try that with everybody, pal. You're going to come up short some of these days.
Well, obviously you would not try it with everyone, but nonetheless, those of
That's
whom
right.
he has tried it, he's been victorious. And certainly your record speaks for yourself here in the World Wrestling Federation thus far, although Mr. Heenan perhaps makes a valid point in that the competition gets tougher and tougher as you make your way to the top.
That's right. Of course, Bobby, in all due respect, you are the brain. But you're also a parasitic leech, and you make your living off the sweat of the brow of other people. At least if I would lose a match, it would be on my own volition, because I am an American, and I get in the ring and sweat. What do? You're a white-collar man or whatever, and you sit back and you have...
Don't you ever call me a parasitic leech again.
Well...
What are you laughing at?
Sorry, just a
You
little...
understood what he said? Yeah. I understood it perfectly. I'm the brain. Don't you ever curse me like that again. Or I'll stuff you so far down that suit, I'll
wait,
take a
please.
rotor-rooter to get you out.
Oh, come on now, please, if you don't mind. Alfred, would you be so kind as to show us what you would look like as sort of a half knight?
I'd love to. As a matter of fact, it reminds me of one of my... This visor here is in a down position, of course, ready for jousting, so I'll leave it that way. It's sort of campaignish.
Yes, but... And then...
Uh-oh, it's a little tight. Could you get that down for me?
Very good. Lord Alfred Hayes, the White Knight in shining armor, or somewhat. We'll be back as we continue with more in TNT, something like that. Stay with us.
I can't believe it.
Once again to join us, Leaping Lanny Poffo. And I understand we're going to see, why don't you young fellows come on in from the Mid-Atlantic Gymnast, and we see some gymnastic maneuvers more or less in the ring. You do things that no one else can do, especially considering your body weight.
Well, thank you very much. Now, like Bobby Heenan was saying, yes, it's true there's contingencies in wrestling. However, remember this, the glory is in the trying, not the winning. So when you go out in the gymnastic meets, remember that. Everybody's a winner that tries their best. So let's see some entertainment.
All right, yeah, come on, guys.
Go, Yuri.
What's this man's name?
Yuri.
Yuri.
This is Yuri. Hello, Mom.
Elsie, Yuri.
How old is this boy?
8 years old.
Look at that control. Has he got it or not?
All right.
Let's give him a couple.
Oh, nice dismount. What does that remind you of?
Antonino Roca.
No, it reminds me of Lou Albano, actually, when Lou first started in wrestling years ago. He used to try that. Not quite as successful as Mr. Rocca. This young man's name is?
Brendan.
Brendan. All right.
Brendan's also 8 years old. First year gymnast.
Very good. Thank you, Brendan.
Kevin.
All right, Kevin.
Kevin's 9.
Kevin is 9 years old, and already he's made his debut on national television.
Yes.
First year gymnast.
All right. Terrific. Thank you, Kevin.
6. Derek.
Derek is 7 years old, right? You're going to tell us that? No, I don't think so. Certainly didn't mean to louse you up there, Derek. And
Cracking jokes and interferes with this guy.
but
Look at
Derek's
the
16.
all right.
16 years old. Look at the muscle separation. Look at those circles. Kurt Thomas.
All right.
All right.
Throw the
Very
beat.
good. Yes, sir. All right. Thank you, Derek.
Michael Ryan.
All right, Michael Ryan, do your stuff.
15. Yeah.
Very good. All right. Terrific. We'd like to thank you, gentlemen. And again, in terms of your credentials coming into the World Wrestling Federation, you do things from an athletic standpoint like no one else. Also the poetry like no one else. And Leaping Lanny Poffo, we'd like to wish you the very best of luck in the World Wrestling Federation.
Well, thank you very much. Can I keep the shirt?
Without a doubt. Now, if you just hold this for a moment, and I'll come over here.
Yeah.
Show you how to. The first thing you do is you address the horse. Is that correct? And then, get me out of this, please, quick. The music starts or whatever. We'll be back with more TNT. Stay with us. Back with more TNT, and in a moment, if you would please welcome, without a doubt, an individual who deserves to be called one of the all-time greats in the history of professional wrestling. Would you please welcome former ladies champion, the fabulous Moolah. Thank you very much.
Moolah, will you stop doing that? You did that on WrestleMania and
You do
completely
it to
threw
me
me.
every time I see you.
Yes, you know, Alfred does move people. That's one thing he does. One way or another, Alfred moves you.
Yes, he does.
But you then again, Moolah, you've been moving people. As a matter of fact, you've been moving women. You've been moving a lot of women around the squared circle for a number of years. And as we said before, no one has ever done it quite like you.
And I can still do it.
There's no doubt about that. But I understand that a little bit later on, we're going to take a look at a new enterprise in terms of the fabulous Moolah, that in the event you don't have the opportunity to regain the ladies' championship, that you're seeking various surrogates to step into your shoes. But we'll take a look at that and talk about that. Alfred, you look ridiculous with that lipstick all over your mouth.
I was trying to, I didn't want to be rude and reach over the top of you because you might have thought I was reaching for Moolah again, but I do have a Kleenex just there on that table.
If you noticed, he didn't fight me off.
No, as a matter of fact, he did not. However, we will see your opponent trying to fight you off as we will take you now to some videotape footage. Let's go now to the tape.
I don't think so. Moolah, a master of ring psychology. There's none any better. Look at that forearm. Moolah knocks her down again. Ooh, with a knee lift. That fabulous Moolah could beat some, I would think, well, she could certainly have a go at some of the male wrestlers. She is tough.
Yes, she is. She's been around a long time, and she knows all the tricks. And as far as the females, at least, she has met and defeated them all. And I think she still has the idea and the notion that she's going to recapture that title.
And who knows? She just might do that.
Well, you never can tell. She's certainly keeping herself in shape.
A fabulous Moolah. Desiree Peterson not doing well at all at the moment.
You got to be careful because when Moolah hurts you, she really doesn't, she tends to really stay on you. Desiree's doing the right thing by staying out, but she should stay out till she really, recoups well enough to come back in with both barrels loaded. She comes back in there hurt, staggering. Moolah will just do a number on her.
Fabulous Moolah in the ring, and Desiree is not doing all that well as we alluded to earlier. Uh-oh, comes in the ring a hard way this time. I remember on one occasion, the fabulous Moolah, look at this. Back body drop, in control again. Fabulous Moolah on one occasion, I can remember her challenging a male wrestler. His name, Pat Patterson. Look at that, Moolah whip to the buckle. Oh no, what's Moolah doing now? Oh, my, missing.
Well, unfortunately, we were unable to show you the completion of that matchup, but that was a nasty thing you did to yourself when you leaped off the ropes like that, fabulous Moolah.
That was another nasty thing, too.
Alfred, what are you talking about, Alfred?
Well, look at the color of that. That's not my, I mean,
it's not your color, is it? No.
Isn't it?
No.
Well, I think it looks nice on you, Alfred.
It does become
Well,
you,
that's
but-
because you put it there in the first place.
But nonetheless, we alluded earlier to the fact that if in fact you were unable to obtain another title shot at the reigning ladies champion, Wendy Richter, that you're making alternate plans. Can you tell us a little bit more about these alternate plans?
Yes, I am trying to get every good athlete girl in the country that will come and join my Camp Moolah. I want to train them, and I will have one to defeat Wendy Richter if I don't.
Seems to me that someone with your credentials would would no doubt it'd be a tremendous camp. I mean, it's...
Oh, gosh. Must be the toughest camp there is. With
It
Moda
is.
there.
It is. And when you graduate from my camp, you can say you're good.
All right, now here, here's some footage. Now, what are we doing here? Is that a little barbell training?
That's right.
And...
Jumping jacks?
Jumping jacks.
Is that a river or a pond?
No, that's a lake at my place. And they're there jogging around the lake.
Is that it must be an old takeoff, actually. By the look.
And they're rowing a boat.
Is that your camp in the background?
Yes, it is.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yes.
And they're all your possible...
They're all discussing Alfred Hayes there in that shot, I'm sure.
Probably.
You know.
I hope not. Gosh, they look tough to me.
And I'm refereeing a match there between two.
Well, in any event, you're hoping then that one of those ladies whom you are
I'm not hoping, Vince.
Oh.
They're going to. If I don't get it one way, I'll get it another.
Well, you are without a doubt the most determined woman I have ever met.
Well, that's the way it has to be. I was raised that way.
Yes, there's no doubt, and there's no one who has ever accomplished, male or female, what you have accomplished in the world of professional wrestling, and we wish you continued success, be it you personally or someone whom you may be training. We thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
The Fabulous Moolah will be back with more. Stay with us. Back with more TNT, and to join us now, ladies and gentlemen, one of the most unusual athletes I think you'll ever see in the World Wrestling Federation, a man with a tremendous military background. Would you please welcome Corporal Kirshner? All right, having served in the Armed Forces, the 82nd Airborne Division, I believe, of the U.S. Army, gives you a tremendous background in some respects in terms of Special Forces coming into the World Wrestling Federation. And I know you've just had your first match. We're going to take a look at that first match a little later on. But right now, what we'd like to do is to chat with you a little bit about just what you think you're going to encounter in the World Wrestling Federation in terms of competition.
I know what I'm going to encounter, Mr. McMahon. It's the best competition in the world. That's why I'm here. It's the challenge. It's why all the training that I've done, I did in the swamps, jumping from 12,000 feet. I like living on the edge. I like the adrenaline rush. I like my nerves on edge at all times. And coming up here, facing the toughest men in the world, well, you know, what other greater challenge could there be?
I guess that is just about it in terms of hand-to-hand combat, no doubt of that. I think that a lot of people are expecting greatness. They're expecting a lot of things out of you, and I would think that would add a little pressure in terms of your entrance into the WWF.
There's a lot of pressure, but I'm used to it. All my training, I've been constantly under pressure. When I was a paratrooper, all they do is they try to break you, they try to make you quit, but a paratrooper doesn't quit. He goes all the way and then some.
All right, well, there's no doubt thus far you have proven yourself that you want to go all the way. Let's take you to some rather unusual footage. We'll take a look now with Corporal Kirshner.
Corporal Kirshner, Kirchner, 82nd Airborne Division. Look it up. Now I have a new mission. Ah!
All right, that was some rather unusual training techniques. I don't think you would find the normal World Wrestling Federation participant training quite like you do. It's different, if not bizarre, but I guess it works for you, Corporal.
Just watching that film right there, Vince, really got my blood rushing again. Falling from 12,000 feet is great. Falling over 120 miles an hour, 200 feet a second, screaming towards the ground. You look up, you pull that ripcord, you just check that parachute. If it's not there, you go for your reserve. If that's not there, you go to the ground.
Well, let's go now to the videotape. We'll take a look at your very first match in the World Wrestling Federation.
Corporal Kirchner.
Corporal Kirchner on his way to the squared circle. And Corporal Kirchner, formerly with the 82nd Airborne, ready to step into the ring to face the likes of Terry Gibbs. Look at the look on his eyes.
I'm talking to this guy here. Look at this. Standing ovation already, just from what they've heard about the corporal. He's quite a man. There's truly a proud American here, and he's trained very, very hard for the WWF because he would really like to show everybody here that he is worthy of...
Oh, look out! Gibbs going for him right away. Gibbs all over Corporal. No, Kirchner stopping that, reversing it. Kirchner ramming the head of Terry Gibbs, and Gibbs goes for the ride. Whoa, baby, back body drop.
Oh, what a back body drop.
What a power slam. And a roundhouse right that misses. Corporal Kirchner has him up. Ooh, my atomic knee drop. Thus far, this match pretty much all Corporal Kirchner. Wow, clothesline. Can't quite get him. And a headbutt there by Terry Gibbs, who is certainly no slouch whatsoever, Mr. Gibbs. One of the contenders.
Gibbs is a tough competitor.
Ooh, wow. Legal maneuver. Driving a knee to the spine area. In reverse fashion, as we saw Corporal Kirchner do earlier on. Gibbs now out on the apron.
Uh-oh.
Gibbs going up to the top, however, Kirchner beat him. Standing on the top rope now. Terry Gibbs. Oh, wow, what a slam that was. Up in the air. Woo! Ah. Covered by Kirchner. And the 3 count.
Very impressive, huh? Very, very impressive.
Corporal Kirchner snapping off salutes to this capacity crowd.
The winner of this bout, Corporal Kirchner.
Corporal Kirchner, formerly with the 82nd Airborne. This man from Special Forces has brought his skills to the World Wrestling Federation. I think we'll be seeing quite a bit of him in the weeks to come.
All right, that was a most impressive victory, your very first one in the World Wrestling Federation. And I wonder if from 82nd Airborne, but now you're in the 3V division. Could you explain that a little bit? 3V division.
3V division is vigilance, vengeance, and victory, because that's what I'm here for, is victory. And I had a lot of people come up to me and say, Corporal, what is a 3V division? I mean, a division is thousands of men. Well, in the World Wrestling Federation, we have thousands of fans, and that's what the 3V division is. They're proud Americans. They're proud to be here. That's what it's all about. This country is great. It's the best country in the world, on earth. Nothing can defeat us or beat us, and the 3V division isn't going down either. With my armies and troops there in any arena, nothing's going to stop us.
Well, we certainly wish you the very best of luck, whether it to be parachuting from way up high or in the squared circle in the world.
I jumped in a couple days. I can't wait to get up there.
I'm sure. Maybe you can
I'd like
take
to try
Alfred.
about 30,000 feet with oxygen.
Maybe you could try taking Alfred with you next time.
Is that go, Alfred?
Join us for more TNT. We'll be right back with a word about next week's show. Stay with us. Next week, a lady who joins us. Well, I don't know if we should tell them about
No,
that.
I don't think so at all.
either.
Definitely
no?
not.
We'll just
Surprise.
be a surprise.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, the Macho Man will join us next week here on TNT, along with Bobby the Brain Heenan, the Dragon Ricky Steamboat, also to join us along with Moondog Spot. That should be somewhat unusual. Mm-hmm. Speaking of somewhat unusual, a lot of youngsters out there have been wanting to know a little bit more about this. There we go. A cartoon version of Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling. Speaking of which, we will take you now to a little piece of footage to show you what maybe some of these athletes look like in cartoon form.
Coming this fall, every Saturday morning starting September 14, Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling. So don't miss the fun and excitement with the Hulk, Rowdy Roddy Piper, and many more of your favorite World Wrestling Federation champs.
Next week, our guest will be Ricky Steamboat, the Dragon himself, along with Bobby the Brain Heenan, along with...
You know something, McMahon?
That's next week.
Relax. I got a lot to say here. Ronnie Poffo was on before, and he had this tuna fish can on his head and the rest of the suit he had on. I noticed he left us in the hall. He's out there signing autographs right now. I'd like you to tell him next time you see him to keep it on his face. He is one ugly punk. Keep the visor down, will you, pal?
That is totally not true. He's a very good-looking person.